Everybody.
Mhm.
We're not going to use the presentation on the screen. I'm just going to be able to talk from experience and go over the last couple flips that I've done, and then also kind of go over some questions and answers. So I think interaction is going to be helpful, and then other people sharing from their experience as well. But my name is David Cevallos, and I'm here in El Paso, Texas. My beautiful wife is Mireya Cevallos. She's also an agent with EXP here in Texas and New Mexico. And we've been investing in properties in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Florida. And we flipped some properties along the way, and we wanted to share our stories and wanted to share our experiences. So to kind of get a raise of hand, who has flipped a property before and made a profit? Okay, we got a few in the house. That's good. Who has flipped a property and lost a profit? Raise your hand. Okay, very good. So just like in life, I've flipped many properties and lost some and gained more than I've lost. Obviously, that's why I'm still in the game. And I want you guys to know that in real estate, you guys have already been here for in this game for a while, that there's going to be ups and downs. And those that have survived the downs, I congratulate you. But real estate investing is quite simple. There's not much to it other than all the details, right? You buy low, you get a good team to fix it up, and then you sell higher than you bought it plus what you repaired it, right? There's your profit. That's everything about real estate investing in a nutshell. So all the details in between is where we're going to be talking about. Our mentor and sponsor, David Acosta, is not on here today, but he gave us a referral for one of the last flips that we had here in El Paso, Texas. But to rewind, I'll give you guys a little bit of background of myself and how I got started as well. And then anytime you guys have a question, just kind of unmute yourself and we can pause and we can kind of go over any questions you guys have. But I was originally born in Quito, Ecuador, South America. I came to the United States when I was 8 going on 9, and you'll see why that is important. So I'm bilingual, Spanish and English speaking. I lived in Oklahoma for many years. That's where my wife and I met. She was the most beautiful lady in the room, and I had to get to know her. And about 3 months after that, we were married. And a year after that, we were getting the good news that we're going to have our first daughter, Skylar. So we moved from Oklahoma to Texas. And one thing that I knew how to do was to run a newspaper, because I published a newspaper in Oklahoma. And when I moved to Texas, I started a newspaper, but I also got involved with real estate, started buying and holding a commercial property. And then after that, started buying and flipping and also helping other investors get started with the business. So that's a little bit about myself. We have 2 daughters, Skylar, who is now turning 15 this year in August, and my other daughter, 9, Solari, she just turned 9 in February. And they're the reasons why I flip. They're the reasons why I buy and hold. They're the reasons why I do what I do. I know, like most of you guys have your why. And your why is going to have to be so important for you. And if it doesn't make you cry, then you're probably not going to do very well. And you're not going to stick around, just like most of you guys have figured out. Those that have stuck around in real estate, why wasn't important enough. They just kind of went off the beaten path and tried something else. But to get started, I'll go over how to find a deal, right? That's the most important thing. Once you find the deal, how to analyze it, make sure that you run your numbers and you do your due diligence. And you're doing this all the time for somebody else. I just want you guys to know that you can start doing this more for yourself. Then after that, make sure that the team is ready and able. And then you get to work, and then you make sure that you complete, and then you guys are doing the rest of the work as agents. You're listing your own properties, or if you're working with another team and flipping in another state, that you have good people that are on your team that can help you with that. So number 1, how to find a good property. So I know that we had a few hands that went up that flipped. I'm going to do interaction today. How did you find your last flip? Who was also said that they flipped homes before here on this chat? How did you find your last flip? Because I can tell you the last one I got was David Acosta. So my network, my mentor, my sponsor with EXP. So your sponsor and your network is very important. Okay. So can anybody share how they found their last flip? Ralph says my network and my clients. Okay.
I can tell you one way. I went to buy it for myself to live in. And then when I got in it, it was when the market was really crazy. It was so bad with all the problems because I couldn't even do inspections. I bought it on the car hood that I turned around and flipped it. Turned around and fixed it and flipped it because I couldn't live in it. That's how bad it was. So anyway, it worked out pretty good. That's the way I found my last one.
Awesome. And I want you guys to take notes because again, you're going to find that a lot of these gems and nuggets are going to be very useful. And again, you could do an accidental flip, right? Where you're trying to buy it for yourself and decide, hey, I'm going to live in it for a little bit and then turn around and flip it. A lot of VA loans and a lot of people live in it for a while. They do little upgrades and then wait for a little bit of equity to come on and then sell it for whatever profits you guys have in it. Maybe 2-3 years down the line. We're going to be talking about shorter terms, 4 to 6 months, maybe 3 months flips. Okay. Ralph said, my clients, my network. So you already have people that come to you and they're going through one of the D's, right? They're going through the divorce, the distress, the dumb decision, the disaster. Oklahoma just went through a bunch of tornadoes. I just had a friend of mine who just went through a fire here in New Mexico. That's a disaster, right? And we're talking to a realtor friend of ours right now that has clients that are going through the divorce. So when people go through a divorce, what do they want to do with that house? They want to sell that quick and get rid of it and get out and on with their life. So make sure that you're looking for those opportunities. So number one, write down where you're going to find the deal. Look for the D's and help. Look for people that are going into stress, divorce, death, downsize, dumb decisions, and just out, need to get rid of and dump a property that nobody else wants to. Okay. One of my mentors was a firefighter, and he told me, David, the properties that I buy are the properties that I was taught to go into when I was a firefighter and everyone was exiting. Right. So it's the same thing. There's a lot of properties that you as realtors say, man, I don't want to deal with this. It can't sell. There's nobody that's going to lend on it. And those are the deals that you want to go into. Okay. The ones that have termites, the ones that have mold, the ones that have, mold is gold, guys. The ones that have the fire damage. Okay. So how can you find these deals? Are they on the MLS, guys?
Mostly not.
Mostly not. The one that I just found right now was on the MLS. It's listed right now for close to around $750. We'll probably be picking it up for around $600. So talk to your fellow agents, talk to other realtors. Okay. Other ways that you can find these properties are right now, marketplace. You guys probably see these bandit signs all over the town that we buy houses. You know how much money I've made off of those bandit signs? I put car magnets on my car that says we buy houses. When my wife saw a big old box truck that I bought and I put we buy houses on the side of it, she thought I was crazy. She said, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Well,
I'll need to clarify why, okay? It wasn't just because he put that it was the way it was put on it, which in his defense, it did attract a lot of people. But maybe, I don't know if I took a picture, but there was a reason, okay? It wasn't the we buy and sell houses.
Yeah,
you have the houses.
It was a box truck that I hired a gentleman that was just needing work. He was a painter, retired vet, and he said, "Hey, I need a job, and I know how to paint." So I helped him and hired him to paint my office. And then he saw my box truck and said, "Hey, I can paint that." And I said, "Well, I just needed to read we buy and sell houses and my phone number. That's it." Next thing you know, we got to become friends, and he knew that I have a daughter at that time. It was Skylar. So he drew his house, a tree, a sunshine, and some rainbows, and he said we buy and sell houses. I don't know if he was high while he was painting it, but either way, I paid him and said good luck. And it's not what I asked for, but it was what I needed. And one thing that I'll also clarify, that a lot of the things that I'm going to share with you, I hope that this doesn't offend anybody, but I know that God's in control and that he helps us find the things that we need and help those that are individuals that are going through one of the D's and going into stress and need help. And we also are improving the values and improving our communities when we go in there and fix up properties that nobody else wants to do. Okay, this is hard work, but you can do it. So number one, finding the deal and learning how to analyze it. Okay, you make your money when you buy or sell. When do you make your money?
When you buy.
When you buy.
When you buy. You make your money when you buy. Okay, so if you buy right, you're going to be all right. So finding the deal, learn how to market, network, talk to other fellow agents, talk to your clients, because they are probably getting rid of a property that they no longer want. Okay. Second piece. So now we're learning how to market. We're learning how to find the deals. We're asking the right questions, seeing if it's a good deal that we need to list for somebody or if we need to take on ourselves. Okay. But we do not make money unless we buy it. Remember that. You have to pull the trigger and not be afraid at the end of the day. Okay. You're going to have to make mistakes and you're going to have to go out there. And as long as you minimize the risk by getting the right team and analyzing it correctly, you should pull the trigger if the numbers are correct. Okay. So talking about analyzing the deal and making sure that there's enough profit in for everybody. So the second thing is, how do you analyze the deal? Okay. What are the key team members that you need to analyze a fix and flip? Who's the first person you should have on your team?
A contractor.
Okay, contractor. Who else?
You're financing, right?
Financer. Okay, a lender. But who's the first person you need?
A realtor.
A realtor. And do you guys know any realtors out there?
Couple.
There you go.
Some.
Yourself. That's why I love this group right here, because you have all of the tools. You have all of the resources. You just got to pull the trigger a little bit more often. You need a realtor. And you know why you need the realtor? Because you need to pull comps. Okay. You know what the price of that property is in that neighborhood. And if you don't, find the best realtor in that neighborhood and start talking to them, start networking, start building a relationship. After a while, can you attract them to come to EXP if they're not already EXP agents?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how you.
Can I ask you a question? I don't want to get you off. You're doing really good, but I don't want to forget my question, because I would really like to do this, and I think you'll be able to answer it. So I think because of the way my business is set up, because I've been marketing in an area so long, I could put out like a postcard, like you're talking about, like the truck. It could look terrible, or it could say, hey, I could just say who I personally am, my team, because we're on Google. They can Google us, they can see. And I could say, I buy houses, or let's say you gave me the correct dialogue, right? But what about, like, how much money does it take to get started in the financing? Like, do I have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars down? Like, I'm sure people here might have the same question. Do I have to go into my bank account? How do I use creative financing to buy these homes, sell them? Because I could relist them myself and sell them. How do I could have somebody analyze it. I would know, I could sell it. How do I put the package together? And maybe you're going to get to that point. I don't want to get ahead, but I'm just like, I know we all don't have 200 or 300 grand sitting around to put these down payments. How do you do that?
Very good question. So the first thing is, we talked about the marketing, and yes, I want you to go out and reach to your network, right? Send them flyers, sending a business card. On the back of your business card, we put I buy houses. You can still advertise your EXP agency, right? Your group. Keep doing what you're doing, but just add I buy houses or we buy houses. It makes the world of difference, because now people that normally weren't going to call you as a realtor are going to call you because you're a buyer. And if it doesn't meet the numbers, then you can turn around and do your pitch as a realtor. Okay. So continue the marketing. I will help you to be able to kind of structure that if you need. Number two, analyze the deal. You're doing the comps. Okay. You want to do the ARV. What does ARV stand for? And I am going to get to the financing piece, which I know a lot of people are looking for. ARV stands for what?
After replacement value.
Yeah, after repair value. Okay. After you repair it, the comps, you're going to have to look at what are the true comps, because that number is very important. Okay. And then there's a formula to get to MAO, MAO. Do you know what MAO stands for?
No.
Maximum allowable offer. MAO, maximum allowable offer. If you follow this, you will not ever lose money. Okay. How do you get to MAO? You look at your ARV times 70%. In some markets, it's going to be 80%. right? In California, Hawaii, New York, where it's a little bit tighter, there's more competition, and the profits are a little bit shorter because the price of the deal is a lot higher, right? But here in the Midwest, we use 70%. So 70% times ARV minus your repair costs.
Oh, this is important, man. I'm typing,
Yep.
David. I'm not
So-
texting. I'm taking notes.
Okay, so take notes, guys. MAO, how do you get to your maximum allowable offer? MAO. They do not teach this in real estate school. I went to real estate school in Oklahoma, took my 90 hours to get my real estate license, and the gentleman that was a broker teaching the class gave me a golden nugget. And I asked him, I said, sir, what do I need to do now that I finished these courses? And I was 21 years old at that time. And I was just a little snot-nosed, didn't know it all, thought I knew it all, but I was kind of rude. And I said, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be you in 40 years. Looks like he was 60 years old, teaching a class, kind of, he was happy to be there, but you could tell that he wanted to do something else. And I said, I'm 21 years old. What do you recommend if you could tell yourself at 21, what would you rather do with your life? And he said, man, I was going to tell you to go get your fingerprints, go take your exam, and then come back and see me because you're one of the brighter students. So he was a broker trying to recruit agents. Okay. But he was doing that as a teacher because he loves teaching. But the golden nugget, he told me, he said, and this is just go off a track, but it's going to come back to at the end. He said, buy one property per year. He said at 21, by the time you're 61, you would have 40 properties and half of those would be paid off. You don't have to work a day in your life. He said, I'm a broker. I have to babysit 14 agents and I have turnover all the time. He says, one thing that I wish somebody would have told me was buy more properties and hold on to them. And at that time, I didn't know how to buy the properties like Nate. I don't know where. I'm 21 years old. I wasn't given the silver spoon. I wasn't given all this money. How am I going to buy it? Where's the money? Okay. The money comes when the deal is sweet enough. The money comes screaming at you when you do that MAO formula. If you find a deal, let's say your average deal, Nate, in your area is what?
Say 900.
Okay. So 900. 70% of that, what is that?
270. Well, that'd be 630.
Okay. And now an average deal in that area, how old are those neighborhoods? They're what? 70, 30?
70,
Okay.
1970s.
So those more likely are going to need full rehabs, brand new bathrooms, brand new plumbing, kitchen, updating lighting, updating electrical, right? When you get to it. So let's say the full quote from your contractor, which is very key. Somebody said, I need a contractor. You need a good, reliable contractor. Okay. So I have a construction business called Cevallos Construction. You know why I have a construction business? Because
you're the only person you can depend on.
Exactly. Because so many contractors took advantage of me. So you're going to make mistakes and you're going to find some jokers, but you're going to find good people along the way. And if you already found them, make sure that you call them and bring them along on every single deal. Okay. Refer those people. Those referring partners are amazing. Okay. So once you have your repair costs, let's say the contractor gives you an estimate of $100,000 to repair. Okay.
So
what is your MAO now?
730.
Okay. So 900,000.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I think Nate went the wrong way.
That's right.
You said 630 at 70%, and it's minus the repair costs.
There it is. MAO is ARV times 70 minus R, minus your repairs. Okay. So you have to make sure that you subtract to pay the contractor. If you pay the contractor, is he going to do a good job?
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure that you pay them well and they do their numbers and you work with reliable contractors that are insured, bonded, make sure that they have a good reputation. They're in the Better Business Bureau. They're not going to be fly by night guys. Okay. So we
70% minus ARV. No, but 70% minus your repair costs, right?
That's right. Okay. So why do we want to use a 30% cushion?
Unexpected expenses and you don't make mistakes.
That's right. 10% goes to what? These famous realtors that think they're rock stars. They want 3%. Another realtor wants 3%. The closing costs on the title company. So there's 10% right there, right? You just paid yourself now and in the future as a realtor. You're making twice as much because you're making money when you buy it, and you're making money when you sell it as a flipper and as an agent. Pay yourself just like the contractor, okay? And then are there loan costs? Yeah, you got to pay the lender. They usually charge what? Hard money is what? 8, 9, 10%?
10%, 10, 11%.
There you go. Pay them. Pay everybody. If you pay everybody, you're going to be very, very wanted and lucky, and people are going to favor you because you're making them money. Okay. And then there's also, again, you want to make some profit in there. So if you're looking for a 10 to 15% return, that's where your money or somebody else's money is going to be working, right? If you're the listing agent, you can be able to shave some money off and make some more money there. But
so David, when you say a maximum allowable offer, that's the formula you personally use to make sure you just kind of came up with, somebody could say 80 if they want to be really risky, but you're saying 70, you won't lose. That's from you, right?
yes, I do not want you guys to lose. Okay. Because you have to look at, am I using other people's money or my money? Whose money do you want to use on the deal?
Other people's money.
Other people's money. Okay.
Elgin's money.
Elgin is loaded. Look at him. He's got gold chains. Everybody is an investor. So this is where you find the money, guys. Okay. I'm going to share with you. I got my degree. It says business management, my undergraduate. Then my master's from the University of Oklahoma says business and HR. I spent probably over $300,000 in those degrees. Did they teach me anything about flipping properties?
No.
But did they give me a network of friends that I can tap into? Because how much money did they spend in their education? Almost about the same, right? Can I go to my friends, my family, and one of the F's that my one of my professors during my grad school taught me is the fools, the 3 F's of financing: friends, families, and fools. When you need money, who are the first people you go to?
Friends.
Family. When the family turns you down, who do you go to?
Friends.
Friends. When your friends turn you down, who do you go to? The
Another F.
fools. The fools that believe in you, right? They believe in you. They trust you. They know that you're going to take care of their money. And you have to start asking for the money, okay? Back then, I was afraid to ask for the money. So guess who I started asking? I started asking Mr. MasterCard, Mr. Visa, Mr. Discover, Mr. Amex. Have you guys seen these checks right here? It says, congratulations, you got a promotion for $70,000 at 0% interest for a year. Have you guys seen those? What do you guys normally do with these checks when you get them like this?
Toss them in the trash.
You go like this and say, I don't need $70,000. I don't need $300,000 worth of credit because I am a what? Afraid to use other people's money. I am afraid to do the deal because I did not analyze it, because I didn't hire the right team or get organized. How many hard money lenders do you guys have right now in your Rolodex? At least 10, right? 3, okay? I need you to find 7 more. If you do not have 10 hard money lenders in your Rolodex right now that you can call and say, hey, I need at least $500,000, you need to find new friends. You need to find more money. If I had your child or your partner right now, Nate, I'm going to use you since I know you a little bit, and I hope this doesn't get personal, but let's say I kidnap your wife. I was a bad guy, and I had a gun to her head, and I said, Nate, I need you to raise $10 million and leave that to me in this box right here that I'm going to leave by the beach in 12 hours. Would you be able to raise that kind of capital?
I would try because I love her.
You would.
I would.
Because you're motivated. Because you have a timeline and you have a specific number amount. All of us can do that. All of us can raise the money and find the money. How many lenders do you guys know right now that you guys can go and talk to?
Tons. I mean,
you give them referrals all the time.
Endless.
20, 30.
How many local banks are in your neighborhood that have maybe 4 or 5 branches? They're not nationwide, but they have maybe 10 branches in California. around Oklahoma. They have 3 or 4 and they're growing. How many of those local bankers can you go over there and talk to the manager or one of the owners and ask them for money because they need your money and they want to work with somebody that's going to give them a good return on investment versus going to Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Chase. Those guys are the big guys that you use later on. Is this making sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Has this been an eye-opening so far? Has this been redundant? Has this helped? Because we're at 11:35. I don't know how much time I have. I think we're only 45-minute calls or an hour.
No, this is great, man.
So I want to take questions and answers, guys, because this changed my life, guys. Okay. I graduated with honors. To all the graduates going on right now, if you have a graduate, I congratulate you. I'm so glad that you guys got your kids through that odd years of, 18 years of life. But you're going to send them on to the world. And do they know how to be able to really make wealth and create wealth? If you didn't teach them, it's going to be hard, right? So one thing that I taught my daughters is the cash flow for kids. Everybody knows Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? Cash flow for kids. All it is just a simple bank statement and a balance sheet, right? Everybody knows what a salary is. Salary is something that we all hate, right? As realtors, why are we in this business?
Freedom.
We want the freedom. We don't want that golden handcuff. We don't want the salary, right? We want the passive income. We want the rental portfolio. We want our investments to make more money so we can have that ultimate freedom to spend time with our family. So as long as we have more passive income than salaries, and they can make sure they cover our expenses, we will have that freedom that we're looking after. So we need to buy more assets, and we need to cover those assets with insurance and other assets. And we have to make sure we have more assets than liabilities. Liabilities are things that lie to you, that say, hey, buy me, I can make you more money. I can make you happy. They don't, okay? Liabilities are things that are taking money out of your pocket, the things that are not making you money right now. And that goes back to the original thing that my mentor said, buy one property per year. If you started doing that right now, when do you think you want to retire? Ralph, when do you want to retire from real estate? Elgin, Medea, when do you want to retire with real estate?
In the next 3 to 5 years, but not necessarily retire, just work because I want to. Does that make sense? Because I don't think I'll ever retire. I think I'm always going to want to be out and about. And I have to add to what he's saying when he told me, hey, now that we have kids and stuff, we need to buy one house at least per year. My jaw dropped. I was like, are you out of your mind? Like, how are we going to do that? And then little by little, he taught me the creative investing, right? And I have to tell you, I wasn't taught that going to school. I wasn't taught that by anyone else. So that's when I knew that, I had married also. For other reasons, I knew I had married the right person, but I knew I had married higher, like someone that I could learn from. And that's when I was like, yes, made the right choice. So just as an FYI, right now, if it's freaking you out what he's saying, I went through those same motions and emotions. But when he explains it and when I've seen him do it, it just all makes sense.
And I know we have a lot to cover. Thank you, Mireya, for that. And she said the right thing. We don't ever want to retire. If we're enjoying what we're doing and EXP allows us to do this, why would you ever retire and say, EXP, I no longer want to get that rev share?
I never want to retire. Just as you
Exactly.
asked, I want to continue to get residual income for the rest of my life and my kids' life and everyone's lives and my family, the ones I love. I never want to retire. I want to continue to get that money. And that's one of the reasons why I chose EXP and also real estate investing.
Thank you, Ralph, for joining.
I think for me, like Mireya was saying, is I know for Amy and I grew up in a family where there was no money, so nobody taught us about it. So then I was a police officer. I worked for a wage. Then I sold real estate. I kind of still work for a wage because I just go commission, right? So I know when my sons, and after I saw people like you investing and other people that have done this and own 20, 30 properties when they're my age at 53, they own 20 properties. Half of them are paid off and then they can pay the other half off. So I know my sons are now early 20s, right? So that's why I'm so interested in this, because I I don't want them to be in the same spot. I mean, I've done fine, but it's being able to work when you want to, but having your bases covered. So if you get sick, if something happens, if you want to take a year off, if you want to travel, if you want to do other things, you have a base covered, your bills are covered, and that takes the stress level down. So when you lose an escrow, you're not ready to shoot yourself. Like I'm like, Mireille, I don't want to retire, but it gives you that peace. I think that peace of not living above your means or chasing the escrow. There's just a horrible feeling. That's why EXP Rev Share is so great. It takes away just a little bit of that chasing the escrow all the time.
So I appreciate that, Nate. So I'm going to open up for questions because I know that this is a huge topic, right? And if you need help, I'm going to give you my cell phone. You guys can call me anytime. It's area code 915-857-3839. I'll repeat that. And if someone could put it down at the comment, it's area code 915-857-3839. I'm going to take some questions. I have Arian. If you can unmute yourself, Arian Packin. He's a friend of mine from El Paso. He's also a realtor, an amazing dad, an amazing human being. And I'm so glad to have you on the call. What's the question, Aaron?
Hey, David, thanks for having us on the call and thanks for holding this for us. 2 questions here. I might have jumped in a little bit late. You might have covered this, but one is, you mentioned deal finding. Where is it exactly that you're looking to find those deals? You did mention, putting marketing on your cards and all that kind of stuff so that people know that you're buying yourself as a realtor. And then the second question would be to service the debt for the money that you are borrowing. How do you do that for the length, that term? Say you're fixing and flipping something, not holding it for the long term. How do you service that debt with trying not to come out of pocket for that?
Very good question. So again, Aaron has a baby on the way. So I congratulate you. And he just had a baby when he joined to our team here in El Paso with EXP. But the question is finding the deal. How do you find the deal? Outmarket everybody. Ask everybody. Talk to more agents. Let people know that you are a buyer. If people in the community know that you're a buyer and you can pull the trigger and you keep buying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, why did David Acosta bring me the deal when he had a deal here in El Paso and he's in California? Why did he do that and not to all these other agents?
He did the marketing.
Because he knew that I do flips. So you have to do what you say you're going to do. And he's also my mentor and my sponsor. Does he want to see me succeed? Yeah, your
Absolutely.
network. So network with other people that have deals, that find wholesalers, find new agents, get new agents, put signs out there. I had car magnets, business cards, trucks. I have a billboard sign. I have a newspaper. I had my own newspaper that I would advertise when we buy and sell houses. And at first, when I got started in this business, my ad was like this big, a little bitty ad, because I wasn't confident. I didn't know. I said, we buy houses. We buy houses. I would just, hey, I don't know, but I'm buying houses. And then once I did my first deal and I make 5 and then 20 and then 30 and then 40, then I'm like, hey, we buy houses. My neighbors everywhere know we buy houses. We went from the smallest house in the neighborhood to the biggest house in the neighborhood. You know why? Because everybody knows, because I buy houses. So tell everybody, don't be afraid, because you have those conversations. If the deal is not right, can you help that individual as an agent?
Absolutely.
You have nothing to lose, guys, and everything to gain. But you have to have those conversations. Aria, I'll take the second question, sorry. How do you find that bridge gap funding, that money to pay the hard money lender per month, right? So remember how many credit cards and offers I get all the time at 0% promotion? You guys are afraid to cash those in. How much is it costing you guys? It's costing you everything because you're not using it. And in reality, it's only going to cost you 3 or 4%, maybe 5%, right? They charge you like a yearly fee, but the rest of the time is 0%. So you have a $30,000, $40,000, $100,000 line of credit right now that you're not using. You have a HELOC right now that you're not using on your own property. You have a 401k that is just sitting there, not making the same returns that you are getting, that you are going to get on your next fix and flip. You have 10 people that you just helped buy a property that they have a 1031 exchange that they have to put money into something. They can put it into a self-directed IRA, and you can be the person that they lend to. You can put them as the lien holder. Guys, there is so much money. You need to be able to ask for the money. Every single person out there that is alive knows how to make money. And you know, the people that know how to make more money are the panhandlers. They ask for it every day because they survive off it every day, right? So if
Or your
you're
kids.
afraid and you don't want to ask for the money, don't be complaining that you don't have the money. If you're afraid of asking for the money and you're too proud for it, then don't be afraid and don't be proud. Or don't make excuses and don't have the money. But securitize. Make sure that you pay people back, because if you don't pay people back, what's going to happen to your reputation?
Down the drain.
Is anybody going to want to do deals with you?
No.
All
No,
that,
sir.
all the marketing that you did, all the good publicity, what's going to happen? All fall apart. So keep your promises, pay people back generously. Why do you think my hard money lenders and my private lenders ask me where the next deal is coming from?
So they stay fed.
Because they like to get paid. They like that passive income, right? Okay. So if I was in your shoes, Mr. Packian, I have a baby coming in, right? I would be buying life insurance for both babies and your wife. And then I would borrow from my life insurance policy. Ask Ralph Payne how you do that. Ask your life insurance agent. Say, hey, I have all this cash value in my life insurance policy. Can I borrow from it? He'll say, yes, you can. And your cash and your insurance still stays the same value. 401k. You have stock rev share. You have stock NEXP you can trade in. I mean, there's so many different ways, and we'll talk more. But I hope those answers your question, Aaron.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey, Arya, I didn't mean to. I know you had a question.
Yes, I had great information. First, I have two sides. One is, how do you set up? Do you set up entities to hold those properties, acquire them? How do you do your risk management on your liability exposure? The second thing is regarding the contracting, because do you have your own contracting business, or do you just work with competent contractors? If you could.
Very good questions. Okay. So the first question is, how do you protect your assets, right? Because the more you have, the more people can go after, right? And there are people that want everything that you have. So very good question. First thing, you can set up any business entity, either an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, nonprofit, trust, or if you're a risk taker, do it under your social as a sole prop. Okay. But the best way is to separate yourself from it, right? If you can set up an LLC, if you can set that up in a state that won't share all of your business, that'd be even better, right? But I usually would set up, if I can, an LLC for each address. So 1101 East Yandell, LLC. And once it's sold, dilute it and we're gone, right? I've done a lot with my own social, right? I'll do stuff with partnerships because they want to have those. I've had partners that said, no, we want to set up a trust. So it's up to you and those individuals that you're working with and what's the best entity that they also will suggest. So talk to your attorney, talk to your CPA. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, but as long as the deal gets done and you do what you said you were going to do, I've never been sued, but I've always won lawsuits. Okay. I'll repeat that. I've never been sued, but I've always won my lawsuits. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you have been the plaintiff.
Because I always kept my end of the bargain and I always did what I said I was going to do. And I always cover my assets by making sure that everything is in writing and I have the right team. And I make sure that there's enough spread to pay for everybody. Because if everybody's happy, why would anybody, or especially me, get sued? I get paid last, guys. The realtor gets paid. When David Acosta brought me the deal, did he get paid right off the bat? Yep. Did the title company get paid the first time we closed? Yep. Did my hard money lender get paid right off the bat? His point to bring the money for the deal. That was no money out of my pocket deal, and I walked out with 40 grand in less than 3 months. So the agent got paid, the title company got paid, the lender got paid. Then the contractor. I am the contractor, but do I want to go out there and hit a hammer? Do I want to pick up a paintbrush? Do I want to do any of those things? No, because I'm getting paid those wages. So I hire competent people, and I also hire and subcontract other reliable people. So there's your answer. I hire people that I want to stay on my team, and I've had them on for over 7 years, 8 years now. But it's hard to find those people. And then once you teach them, they usually go on their own after a while, right? So I have to find subs. I'm constantly finding good subcontractors, constantly recruiting, just like EXP, just like insurance, just like anything. You're constantly recruiting, constantly looking. And that's the grind, right? Fix and flip is like a job. So that's why I go back to the buy and hold, right? And also recruiting EXP agents, because that's passive income, revenue share, the rental. Okay. So guys, we're about 8 minutes in before an hour. I hope that you guys got some golden nuggets. I hope that I was able to, bring in some new stuff or bring in some ideas that you guys already thought of before. If you need some help, call me. I cannot help you if you don't call me. I'm going to do a deal without you. I would rather do a deal with you. And if you have money, guys, I raise money all the time. I'll ask people, say, hey, if you got $10,000 sitting around in your savings account, how much are you making on that? They're like, well, I make 0.03. I said, okay, well, why don't you, do you want to make 10%, 8%? And I'll give that to you back in 6 months to a year. They're like, how do you do that? Well, I'll put you as a lien holder. Depending on how much you bring in is the placement that you're at. You can create your own capital group, right? It's like a REIT program, but you're raising the capital. Doesn't matter if they're accredited investors. To become accredited investors, they have to have over 200,000. Go with your mom, go with your dad, go with your uncle, go with your cousin, go with your 2 neighbors. They're right there. If you got 10 people bringing in $10,000 each, that's 100 grand. Can you have that now and go to a conventional bank and get money? Because you got a down payment for $1 million home. So many different ways, guys. But any last questions before we finish?
No, I mean, David, this is great stuff. It's like we're at an hour, and we do want to keep our people. I don't think we could have got more meat and information in one setting. I would have so many questions, but it is something you have to focus on and learn it. It's not something you can just do without having your details, or you'll get squashed, right? I mean, that's what I heard you say. But if you think about it, that's why a group like this, guys, is so important, because we have different experts in all different fields. So, I mean, even though David's in Texas and I'm in California, I'm sure if I wanted to do a deal, I could do a deal with David, almost like hire David as a consultant to say, here, run this deal, make sure I'm not screwing it up. I'm sure he would do that for a fee, right? And you could do deals back and forth. So let's utilize each other's talents, and what we can do. It's hard to find stuff here. The competition is fierce. I don't know what it's like where you're at. Here it's fierce to find the fix and flips, but if I could advertise I buy houses and I know David's going to make sure I don't make a mistake, pay David some money and have him to look over your deals. We could use each other. So Elgin, do you have anything else? We're right at our hour. This was great. I don't think, David, you've done an amazing job. I don't think we could ask for more.
Oh, very, very good. Especially with the there's an awful lot of information you gave, David, in a short amount of period of time. So it's got everybody's head spinning and fingers hurting from taking notes. So great
I think
job.
Ralph had a question. I'm sorry.
I just want to bring out the fact that, thank you very much, David, for, giving so much value and bringing me on board and giving me the value that you've given me as well. But, one thing I have to say is that, you don't get information if you don't ask, just like David's saying. I think that you have to ask like a little child that's asking for some candy. And even in this business, as being realtors, we don't understand that our upline, our mentors, the people that are around us, like Elgin, Nate, Frank, David, all these different people, if you don't ask the question, or if you don't message us, or if you don't get in touch with your mentors, you're not going to get the information. I mean, you can listen, but if you want more information, you really have to ask like a child. So that's all I'd say.
Good point. All right, guys. Well, Chris, I think we're all done. I think you're running at Zoom. I think none of us have any more. Let's meet back here again next week, and just we'll have something else. But man, a lot to think about. Good stuff. They would really appreciate you. You could tell how much you prepared, but we also could tell it flowed so easy. We could tell how much you know it. You know it just backwards and forwards. So you didn't even have to look at you don't even need a slide deck. It's great.
Well, thank you guys for the time. And like I said, don't hesitate to call me, text me. If you need me to go out and travel, go out and assess a deal, we can put a team together. I've done this quite a while, that I can do this blindfold and sniff out, just like you guys can do a deal I don't mind traveling, and there's a lot of deals in the Midwest. We just had a tornado in Mustang, Oklahoma, where my parents live. And there's going to be properties out there. There's going to be hurricanes out in the East Coast. There's going to be flood in the West Coast. There's going to be fires all over. Look for those deals. Be a resource. And I'll go back to this. I'll end with this. God knows that he's going to send the right people to help the people that are praying for you right now. Okay. There are people that are going through a difficult time, and all they have is that property. They have something that they see value, but they're going to lose it all. They're going to lose everything to the banks, to the disasters, and you're going to be an answer to put money in their pocket. Okay. And if it's already too late that they lost it, you know who's the most motivated seller out there? The bank. I get properties at foreclosures, at the auctions, but the ones that have to sell those toxic assets are the banks. So go to asset managers. Go to the banks and say, hey, how many properties are sitting on your books right now that are over 120 days old? They cannot lend out 10 times more than what that property value is that they note that they had. Remember that. They have to have so much money in reserves in the bank where they cannot lend that out. So a $100,000 property keeps them from lending out almost $1 million. So are they motivated to sell that property?
Right on.
That's the last nugget. I'll leave you guys with that.
Loved it. I love it. All right. See you guys. See you, Elgin. Bye. Take care, Ralph, Michael. Bye, Maria.